Going up.
Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up.
Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
Going down.
We've lowered prices and give you a 5-year price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Get one line of 5G data for $40. Period. That's 20% lower. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Booze and banter.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, Roman, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm excited. We have another great guest with us in the show today, and we're going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. My name is Barb Stone, and I am a leadership development coach. And the name of my business is Build Your Path, because that's what I do. I help people build their path. And I recently am now the author of a book, So Much to Drool About, Lessons for Living Large.
Yeah.
Because it's about, you know what, life has so many lessons to teach us, and it's really about living that larger life, because that's what really we're meant to be and to do.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people miss that. So
Yeah.
it's good that, I read part of the book and I didn't get to finish it, but it's some of these lessons in there that we I told you I was going to mention are, life lessons for people as well. Like, it's just kind of from the dog's perspective, though.
Yeah.
My wife talked about writing a book, and she said, you often see, a kid who got a dog, but she wants to reverse the roles. And she was going to write a book saying a dog that got a kid or
They found a human or something, yeah.
Yeah, or something like
person,
that, where it's from a dog's perspective, not a kid who always wanted a dog, but it's a dog that wanted to always have a human.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like a reverse.
See, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right.
we see this as being, okay, we have dogs, but what would it be like to have a dog that has a human? Oh,
Right.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Tell her I want to talk to her about
Okay,
that.
I will.
I'm gonna
You guys
get her.
can.
I'm gonna get her going on
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and stuff. So, that is just
Perfect, yeah.
wonderful.
It's just a different. We're so used to, from our point of view, from like what we are looking at, what we want. And you see cartoons and video and movies, and where it's about animals, right, interacting with each other with human language. But it's now from a perspective of this lonely dog that always wanted a human.
I love it.
Yeah,
love.
I think
love
where she got the idea from. Her and I both growing up, our parents didn't let us have pets, and I've sent so many of my friends with litters to my house, and my mom just turned them around and said, nope. And now we're adults. We can do what we want.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now I have 3 dogs.
Absolutely. And no parents telling you just
Yep.
can't,
I actually want to surprise my mom, like, here's a puppy. And,
Oh, you get surprised with a backhand. You bring a puppy over.
you ever watch those videos where like kids will bring a dog home and then their parents are like, no, absolutely not. I'm not dealing with this. And then they show 6 months later, he's like babying this dog.
yeah.
And
Yeah. So, there's it's perfect timing of my book. And then also there's a movie out called The Friend. And it's got Bill Murray in it and Naomi Watts in it. And Bill Murray has found this Great Dane, and he dies, and he wills it to Naomi Watts, and she goes, "Oh, I don't want it. I don't want it. I can't have it. My landlord won't let me have it. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm just watching the clips." But she ends up keeping it, and it changes her life.
Sure.
And that's, you these things come into your life, and you can say no, but it's like, it could really make a difference in your life. These animals, these beings, these different perspectives. And I really do want to talk to you.
yeah, I will have her get in touch with you for sure.
Yeah.
Today I had to drop off my dogs for grooming.
Oh.
And then when I got
You should have dropped herself with them.
Yeah, get myself groomed. Might be cheaper than a regular haircut.
It might be.
And then they called me when they were ready, and they said, kids are ready. They don't say your dogs are. They say your kids are ready.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'll give them a plug. It's called Heads and Tails on Route 57 in Liverpool.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So they do a great job, and they're very so attentive to my dogs. I'm sure they're like that with a lot of others.
Well,
Does your dog have to be groomed?
well, he did get a bath yesterday. One of one of them did, because we're going on Bridge Street on Thursday.
Okay. Yep.
So I thought he needed to look a little presentable.
This is Zeus?
This is Zeus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is his coat shiny?
His coat is shiny.
Oh, nice.
And we've had 3 Harlequins, the black and the white,
Okay.
and then as I'm thinking about writing this book, I really go like, I wanted to have a little diversity. So we decided we were going to get a blue. We only have 2 at a time because it's just too much. But when Beau passed away in February 2023, I had to have another one. And so we got Zeus, and that Zeus is named for what Beau came to us. Beau came to us as a Zeus, and because Beau was an amazing dog, we wanted to name him Zeus. But I want to tell you, we call them our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like Frank and I call each other. Well, we're
You got a Frank in your life too?
Yes, I do.
Because Roman's got a Frank in his life.
yes.
wait. Hello, I'm here. I'm here too.
No, you're my Frank.
No, fine.
I have a Frank in my life. But you know what we do is we go like, okay, I let them out, and Zeus peed pooped, or Aryanna just peed. So it's like, because these are our kids.
Yeah.
And, you got to keep abreast of what's going on to keep them, happy and content.
And you spend time with them. If you spend time and you train them correctly, there's really, I don't understand anybody that would not be happy with a pet.
Oh, I know.
There's
best
nothing
listeners.
negative about them, right?
Yeah.
They're the
They don't
best
care what you
listeners.
did. They don't care what your day was like. They don't.
But that's it.
Yeah.
It's unconditional love.
yeah.
When you walk in the door, they are like all over you because they like, oh, you've been gone all day, but oh my God, you think you've been gone for a year, and it's that love that they give.
But for you've got to like brace yourself because those dogs come running at you. You're gonna break something.
You gear up. You like elbow pads, protection. Okay.
Helmet and like.
Well, in the beginning of the book, the foreword is written by Axel, and Axel is a neighborhood. Another Dane, and he lives down in the corner, and he's actually a cousin of Zeus's. They came from the same litter, and he stayed with us for a weekend, and literally they hug you. When they lean, that's their way of hugging. And I'm like, I had to brace myself for this lean that you never know what's going to happen. So
And they are the gentle giants, right? That's what their
they
name.
really are.
I mean, they're pretty protective. I mean, my brother-in-law had one, and they're pretty protective, but they're not like they're not violent.
No.
They're not. In the right situation, they're going to scare someone away. But
They scare.
yeah.
we get delivery people coming to the house, and the 2 of them barking, and it's like, and some people don't want to get on the stoop because they're afraid. But it's like as soon as you get in the house, oh, they're gonna love you to death.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open the beer. 'Cause
Open the beer.
Well, me and Barb started before you, but we'll all cheers after this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then we'll get into some more about what your history is, how your career kind of started, and then we'll go from there. But you probably want
I need the first sip first, and then we'll take a really quick ad break.
Well, we gotta cheers first.
you guys, go ahead. Everything else is done without me.
Well, you just met Barb, and I was late.
Me and Barb are old friends. We met like 20 minutes ago.
I made an oopsie today. Cheers.
okay.
Cheers.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's a Bach.
Oh, that feels so good.
Good.
We'll take a really quick ad break, and we'll be right back. Are you hiring? With ZipRecruiter, you can post your jobs to 100+ job sites with just one click. Then their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your job, better than anyone else. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter does not depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. In fact, over 80% of the jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Simply screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter. Easy-to-use dashboard. Find out today with ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes. It finds the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, our listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/podcast. That's ZipRecruiter.com/podcast. And one more time, for people across the pond, go to ZipRecruiter.com/podcast. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Quick break. And we were going to talk about how you got into this bar.
Yeah, how I got into
Yeah.
Well, we can probably start even before that, right? Because me and you had a conversation a little bit, so Roman wasn't privy to that. But
Yeah, let's go there.
Okay, so I've had an interesting career. It's kind of interesting. The reason I asked you about your accent is because I'm of Polish descent.
Oh, okay.
My father was born in Poland, and he came over a Polish Navy ship, and I grew up in a bilingual home on Long Island. And so I didn't necessarily have a traditional, upbringing, and not that anything is really traditional anymore. But anyhow, I wound up here in Syracuse area, and I just started. Actually, I trained horses and taught people to ride horses, horseback riding, and wound up here and decided, well, I needed to go back to school. So I found a full-time job, went to school going part-time, got married, fast forward, got my MBA, and decided I was going to go into manufacturing. Because you know what? One of the things I loved about manufacturing is it kind of brought everything together. It's like you have to bring the people together, and we were talking about, inventory and really being able to order the supply chain and being able to make the parts and then ship them to the customer. And I just loved it. And I had the opportunity to travel to Europe for it and spend some time in Michigan for it. So it was a great career, but I finally ended up saying, is this all that life's about? It's climbing like these ladders and making some money, but was I really happy? And so I started really discovering, like, what is it that I want to do? And I studied resiliency. I studied positive psychology, and then I got involved in some coaching programs. And then finally I go, oh, you know what? This is pretty cool. And so I decided to, while I was still working, went and got my coaching classes done. And then I hired a coach because I truly believe that we all need coaches. We need some type of a guide to go alongside of us and to help us, because I wished that I had one, being that little Polish girl, to being able to help me demystify some of the things I needed to do and just have somebody to talk to. So I quit my job at the end of 2018, and I started my business, Build Your Path. And I was also going through my certification program because I really wanted to get the credentials to be able to help people. It wasn't like, I need to call. And I do have a lot of acronyms after my name, but it was, I wanted to do it because I wanted to help people and giving them the tools. And so that led me to I was doing individuals and then developing for teams. And then I do training now and helping teams better understand what is that culture? What do we need to do to move forward? How do we need to work together? And I have a leadership model that I teach. But one of the things that it starts out with is we are leaders of ourselves. And what does that look like? Because before you can lead anybody else or a company, you really need to think about leading yourself. What are your values? What are your purpose? What's your purpose? What's your strengths? To be able to better understand that. And from that, I don't know, it's just been a road of discovery, because now that was 6 years ago. And I'm working also, have my own private clients, but I also work with the Wise Women's Business Center because I help women putting their good work out in the world, businesses, and it's like helping them grow. And that has just been an absolutely a rewarding endeavor, and I love it. But also, then I'm always saying, what else is there for me to do? And I did a TEDx talk back in 2024. TEDx called it "Perfection is Overrated." I think that's what they did. I wanted.
We'll find it.
We'll find
the
it.
link
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Well, I originally wanted to call it "Looking Good and Getting It Right is Killing Our Souls," because that's what we do. We're in this society that we got to look great, but it's killing us, And so I did that, but it was also like, okay, what's next? And when I started in 2019, I was working with a company and I was doing some training and coaching with the individuals there. And one of them, I said, I have a book in me. And later on years, we stayed in touch, and she goes like, Barb, periodically she'd say, hey, Barb, are you ready? And I just wasn't ready, But what I did was I started accumulating, because I write blogs and I write posts on LinkedIn and everything like that. So we started just pulling from that and started creating stories about life and life's lessons. And that we can all be resilient in whatever we're doing. And then the other passion that I've always, and you've read a little bit about my, how did I get there? But I always rescued dogs.
Right.
Our first Great Dane was a rescue, but getting a Great Dane was a dream. And so here it is, years later. I'm on my fourth one and loving it. And so I wanted to combine two passions, being able to help people and also seeing it through the eyes of my Great Danes and Danes drool.
Well, it's interesting you bring all this stuff up because, you've really been pretty successful in your career, or you've at least found success. But it's not always happy success because you're having this sort of turmoil or other kinds of outside influences. And we talked about a previous job you had where, as a powerful woman, someone wasn't happy with that.
Yep.
And really, it pisses both of us off to hear that stuff because it's just not right. I don't care who is the boss of anything. The right person for the job is the right person for the job. But it's just it's really discouraging. That's still something we have to deal with. And not personally me because I'm not a female, but for us to hear that from you, it's we've talked to some other people on here that have gone through the same thing, females, and I'm like, it's just I don't know that we've talked to a female that hasn't had some sort of sexism sort of thing, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Today's time too.
Who cares?
It's sad that we still have that.
Yeah.
It is, But you know what? I just want to pick up on something you said about, I've had a lot of successes. But, one of the things that I really had to say, and this is one of the things I want the audience to think about, what comes first, success or happiness? Right. And we all think we got to get to that thing that's going to make us successful. Well, you know what? It's really about being happy. Right. And then if you can be happy and find that thing you want to do, it's like then you're going to be successful.
And you can do both, but you as an individual got to find out what that
exactly.
what that level is.
Yeah.
I have something to share about that. I have a friend who he opened his own physical therapy practice, and my background is construction, real estate, so I helped him build his practice, and he got the building. I remodeled for him, and he was so nervous. And I said,
"What nervous? Because you were doing the work, or nervous?"
No, nervous. Good one. He was nervous to leave the steady job and start a business.
Yeah.
And that leap is, I've been there several times.
She's done it several times as well.
Yeah. And I said, what is your goal? And he said, I want to be successful. I said, well, what is your meaning of success? And he didn't know. He's like, well, I want to be wealthy. And I said, oftentimes success is measured among peers. They are measuring their success based on where the other person they know of is financially, status-wise, right? So then this person is like, well, now I'm less successful because this person is here. So it's this constant race for greed, I guess. And they are their interpretation of success is to be where this person is. Yeah. I said, you should concentrate on success of happiness, stability, and where you want your family to be.
Absolutely.
And I said, don't look at others and measure your success based on others' success. Because sometimes they are so focused on that race to have more money or whatever, but they might not be happy. They could have all the money in the world. I said, aim for success to be financially stable and where your family would be happy.
Or you'll see that false happiness. As people like, oh my God, they look like such a happy couple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They really weren't, you know?
You know, and it's like one of the things that came up for me as you're talking about that is that it's about the journey. You know, it's about the discovery, because you can't, and as a coach, you know, I can't tell somebody that they need to do. All I can do something. All I can do is hold them as in a container, so to speak, and ask them the questions to be able to help them discover what is it that they really need to do. Because if I tell you what to do and you go off and you do it, you're not going to be happy.
Well, and a big part I think about, I mean, you know, I don't have a coach. I'm not, you know, I don't have the acronyms that you mentioned. But a lot of, I think, coaching is when you're asking questions, the people already know the answers. You're just pulling out of them.
Yeah. And you know what? You are a coach.
Yeah.
Even like what you guys are doing here, you're asking questions, you're listening, you're a powerful, you are a coach, because that's what makes people a coach. When I teach people about leadership, and I give them a module about coaching, because I didn't realize that when I was in my manufacturing career, and I was not a machinist, I was not an engineer, but I ran so many different areas and departments, heat treat, machining, assembly. But what I did was I was able to bring people together and being able to discover what's the right thing. So yes, you guys are coaches.
Yeah, so if it's a team, you just have to have good people around you, and you don't have to know it all.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. And bring it out the best, and then really decide what you need to do. You're just kind of leading them, giving the vision, but you're also tweaking the journey as you go, because you don't know everything.
Right.
And you're just guiding them. So you guys are.
You mean like
Coaches.
as a podcast?
Yes, you are, because you really are. You're trying to find the best in people so that they can bring it out in your podcast to be able to help your audience, that something's going to click. So, you know, you guys are coaches.
Thank you. I enjoy conversations. I enjoy interactions with people. When I was a little kid, my grandpa used to tell me stories about his experience during war or just upbringing, different times. And I remember I drove from Boston to Florida with my grandmother. And she would tell me stories, and I wished I had a recorder at the time.
Yes.
And just to hear these stories, it always fascinated me. Always brought me to deeper thoughts. And I think when we have, and my wife always asks, she's like, what do you guys talk about on the podcast? Like, how do you spend an hour and a half or 2
Yeah,
hours?
I think our wives just choose not to listen by choice. You know?
She's like, what do you guys talk about? I said, well, you need to be curious. You need to have curiosity.
Yes.
And I think I have enough curiosity, because when you talked about horseback riding, teaching, like I want to ask all these questions because I'm curious. It's interesting to me. I think it takes a person to have interest and curiosity in order to carry a conversation. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I can be put in any crowd and I'll find a person to discuss, talk about things, just have a conversation. And when we have guests here and we have conversations and we talk to them, to a degree, I become like attached. I'm like, oh, I love that I know this about this person. Like next time I'll see them, I'm like, oh, hey, how are you? Like we'll see each other in public or whatever. There's a little bit of attachment because we sometimes open up. Sometimes I'll be in tears or a guest has something emotional to talk about. And it takes a special place for them to feel comfortable enough to get to that stage and to open and say those things to us. I tear up easily. I don't know. Lately, a phrase would make me like tear up. I don't know what it is, but yeah,
onions do that.
Yeah. Stop carrying that onion in your pocket. Yeah, I'll watch like every time I will watch a movie. There's a sensitive moment. My wife and my son are looking to see if I'm crying.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I cry over all those soldiers coming home videos you see on my face, like when they surprise their wife or their kids or something.
And I think that's where it comes from is being able to make that person comfortable enough to have a conversation. And your curiosity is what continues and drives that conversation to grow and keep going.
Absolutely. Because really two of the biggest things for you to being a coach is to be curious. Because what you're doing is you're being curious about what are they saying and asking them powerful questions that says, okay, help me unfold this. And the other thing is listening skills, and I train people on listening skills, and there's 3 different levels. One is you're in your head. Another one is laser focused on that person and really picking up on everything that they're saying. And then there's the 3rd level where you're really taking a look at the body language and what are you sensing about them. And after I teach this, I talk to them about, I actually go through an exercise and showing them what it's really like. Because level 1, you can ask a question and then it's right away, it's about them. They start answering. And people don't realize that. And so many times I've taught that and they go, oh, and we come back and it's like, Barb, wow, I didn't realize when I was having a conversation with people, they really weren't listening and they weren't invested in me. So it is absolutely so true what you're saying, Roman. Absolutely,
And I think that's part of why we continue to have guests. And people, when they come over, they have a great time. Yeah. So, I mean, we haven't had a bad feedback or
not that they told us.
Worst podcast or, I mean, so far.
They could all be lying to us. I don't know. But it's fun for us because we get to unwind. I mean, we got day jobs. We all do. But we get to meet interesting people. And some people we just have fun with. Some people it's all different. There's a coaching or an author, or there's a pest control guy, or there's a pool installation man, like whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just interesting people.
And you know what? Each one of those interesting people have a why. There's a purpose into why they're doing it. Yeah, you have your day job, but wow, you want to do something else. There's that why, and that's what makes it interesting to be able to find out what makes people tick. From there.
And that's what I like to talk about, the history of things. Like, how did you arrive here? Like, I mean, were you a goat farmer and now you're a nuclear physicist? Like, how did that happen? That type, the journey.
Yeah, the journey.
Yeah.
If there's a goat farmer who became nuclear physicist, please contact us. We'd love to talk to you because that's interesting.
A nuclear goat.
That is really interesting.
These things that happen here, like nobody really knows what's going on.
They probably modified their goats so when they poop, their poop glows and they'll know where they pooped.
And that's what's in glow sticks.
Repurposing.
Yes, that's right.
Repurpose.
Upcycle.
It's easy to find it at night. I wish dog's poop would glow so I can go get it. It's like a hunting in the morning. I would go around, watch my step. Where did they poop last
Barb
night?
doesn't have that problem. They got a heat sensor because those are big piles. Yeah, those things are like
you trip over
like elephant dung. It's like you could light it on fire like 4 weeks later.
Yeah.
It's like Jurassic Park. Remember when there was a pile of that poop? They had to find that satellite phone.
That's your job.
So how was your journey from that coaching and spark the idea or drive? And you mentioned someone kept reaching out to you to write a book.
So, this is kind of an accumulation of a whole bunch of different ideas. One of the things that happened during COVID, we're all isolated. And it was like one of the things I needed to do was I needed to get up going in the morning, but I needed some inspiration, And somebody had sent me Seth Godin's The Practitioner book. And it was about short stories that really made you think and ponder about meaningful things. And so I'm going like, oh, this is really, really cool. And then years later, somebody sent me a copy of Big Panda and Tiny Dragon. Have you seen that?
I know the book. I've not.
Yeah. And it's just great because it's like, again, inspirational statements or just pictures of Big Panda and Tiny Dragon on their journey through different seasons. And it's about their life and the wisdom. It's the wisdom that came out. And I'm going like, so meanwhile, I'm writing all these blogs, and whenever I hear something that's really, really good and meaningful for me, I actually used to have an office in the Titcomb building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I would write it on a Post-it, put it on my wall, and then I'm going like, okay, that's going to make a good blog or a good post. And so I saved all those, and I'm going like, these are wisdom that people can really ponder and think about. What does that really mean in your life? And so what we did was, so I had an editor-writer who helped me to kind of, because one of the things is I love working in teams because I don't know it all. And she was a great writer to be able to help me craft what I really want to say. And so we bantered back and forth on how this is going to look and what we wanted to do. And initially we were starting to take all the stories we had and started putting them in the life of the Great Dane, starting from a pup to aging. And, then we just started creating stories, but we made wisdom statements at the end. And so come probably, looking at it, we finally got the concept together in the beginning of 2024 of what this thing was going to look like. And now we started mapping out all the different stories, and again, in the chronological life of a Great Dane, but it didn't make sense to me. So we pulled everything off the walls, and I said, you know what, let's do this, because each person and each dog has a personality that's going to have different stories that are going to be really meaningful to them. So we pulled it off and then we put them back on the wall, and we created this book. And then I found an illustrator who, because I had the picture of Big Panda and Tiny Dragon, and I'm going, this is what I want. I want to be able to have somebody capture the essence of what these Danes are going through. And it just started coming together, and it was just an amazing, amazing experience. And I want to do more. We have more stories to put together. One of the things I really want to do here with this book is I would like to create questions, just as if I were coaching people on some of these stories. Like, well, what did that bring up for you?
I see.
So that people can start going deeper into these things. And these stories here are real life things that people do, and I love it. It's been a journey. I gotta tell you, it hasn't been smooth, but just like anything that you want to put out in the world, it has some ruffled feathers. And but we did finally get it launched the beginning of March in the ebook, and then it came out on the just last week on the 3rd of April in paperback. So I am just so thrilled. And it's not about, I gotta say, it's not about me. It's not about me writing this book, about having the idea of putting it out. It's about getting the message of these Great Danes and the life that we can choose and the lessons that we can learn to be able to make a difference in our lives and also in the lives of people around us. I really want a ripple effect. I'm trying to do, I still do my coaching and everything else, but I really want to get the message out there. So that's why I'm so excited about doing this with you guys. It's because whatever population I'm going to reach, I want to be able to reach that, it is okay. There's a lot of lessons here that you learn. And, one of the things is that I have this saying that, you can have things happen to you and you can be a victim of it, like, oh, it happened to me. But then you can turn it around and say, it happened for me. And I was able to create from it. And what I'm doing now here for me, all my life stories here, and things that I've heard, I want to create wisdom from them so that I can share that with people. And because we all have wisdom and we all are leaders, and I just want to be able to spark something in someone to be able to say, I can do that. I can try something. Yeah. All the different changes that you've been through, all the changes in life and the different things going on in the different countries where you've been, but you're resilient and you learned from that and you didn't get stuck. You kept moving forward. And I truly believe that it is our God-given right to be able to live our best life. And that's really what I want for people. And that's what I want for everyone, to be able to get, and I believe in coaches. I do. And I'm not selling coaching. I'm just selling that you can find whomever you need. You can find the people around you to be able to step into what is the best thing for you.
Yeah. I think great things and accomplishments come from our failures.
Yes, absolutely.
My son asked me this question once and made me think about it before I responded back to him. He goes, Dad, how did in such a short period of time, short period by measuring human existence, not how old the world is, but human existence, in such a short period of time, we went through this leap of using basic gardening tools to flying airplanes. And I said, through a lot of failure.
Yeah.
Nobody came and said, this is how you build a plane. And from the first try, we had a flying plane.
Yeah.
It's through a lot of trial and errors and failures and, a lot of consulting, working in groups. And I think that what you've said, maybe misfortunes or sacrifices that we've gone through, it's not a waste if we take something from it and pass it on.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But also taking chances. I mean, you leave a steady job.
Yep.
And you've got to be willing to do that to pursue whatever your dream is.
Yeah.
It's a chance.
Yeah. And you know what? We are that experiment.
Right.
We are that live experiment. And it is our choice to decide that we want to be the best that we can be. And sometimes people just don't realize that they have a choice to be able to move forward. And, a lot of people ask me, how do you get unstuck? I said, move.
All right.
Move.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not too sure which way to go. Start.
Change, do something different.
Yeah. And pivot.
Yep.
Pivot so that, you can find the right thing.
And why Great Danes?
So why Great Danes? So I grew up on Long Island. And when I was in junior high, I had a friend of mine, a student friend of mine, who ended up having a Great Dane, and his name was Buckley. And I remember Buckley, when I'd go over there and visit, Buckley would sit on the couch with his front paws on the floor. Yeah. And I'm going like, oh, wow, this is cool. And we had umpteen zillion animals. I had a horse. My brother had a monkey. And so, but I never had a Great Dane. And then when I was thinking about getting my MBA and I was traveling for the job I was working, and I sat next to this bigwig who was going on an bigwig interview, and we started talking because I said, well, I'm thinking about applying for MBA schools, and he says, well, let me show you my pride and joy. And he had a portfolio, and he opened it up, and it was this Harlequin Great Dane sitting on Santa's lap. And I knew someday I was going to have that Harlequin Great Dane. And I always rescued animals. I always rescued dogs. They would always find us. And then there was this, in the paper, there was this, I'm always looking at dogs, in the paper. And somebody was looking to give up a 1-year-old Harlequin Great Dane female, supposedly obedience trained. And I'm going like, I told Frank, I said, I got to check this thing out. And I called them, and we were going to, something was going on in the city, and we had friends visiting us, and they, I said, we can't make it today. And they said, well, there's 3 people that already want to come and see her. And I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to call you tonight just in case somebody doesn't come. And they didn't come.
Perfect.
So I went and I met her for the first time on that Monday. And then I said, okay, I'm going to give us a trial run on Thursday. And of course, Frank goes, I knew it was not going to be a trial run. And we just kept her. And she was just, so she was 1 year old. And so I write in, one of the things I write about in the book is about, her first journey, about, because she lived in a crate for the most part for her first year. And it's like, just her dreaming.
Yeah, how she got out of it.
But you know what? So the story behind this is we don't give ourselves permission to dream anymore. And it's like, what if we were to be able to dream about what we really want? And I want people to dream and be able to think about what else is there, what else is possible.
Dream not in the sleep. Dream, you mean
like really
reach out for ideas.
Yeah. What do you want to create?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. You don't hear that anymore. It's all about wake up and survive, right?
No.
Yeah.
But it's dream. And if you can dream, then you can potentially think about walking into it,
Well, that's what makes these other things happen. You get to follow your path. You get to make these decisions and take these chances and sort of follow these careers that, and for you in this instance, it's helping others.
Yep. And it's like, so I work with a lot of women business leaders now, and they just kind of like, it's almost like, what's the magic pill?
Right.
And there isn't a magic pill. I mean, we all go through trials and error. And I mean, myself, I was like, I'll never forget, I went to the Women's Business Opportunity Connection, and I'm going like in February of 2019, and I'm going like, there were probably at least a dozen coaches, consultants in the room. And I'm going, who am I to call myself a coach, speaker, trainer? They may all be doing the same thing. Exactly. Yeah. But it was the furthest from the truth. And now I truly call myself a coach, speaker, trainer, a TEDx speaker, and now an author. But it wasn't a straight line. It was so much learning and saying and bumping into things, and saying this didn't work. So what else is going to work? And try. But I had that vision of what I wanted to do and to find a way of doing it. And this is just, for me, this is just another way of doing it.
And this is the first step, first ripple of a ripple effect you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you familiar with a local group called 100 Women Who Care?
I have not been involved, but I have seen that they're going to be having some events, and that I've said I'm interested in it.
Okay.
From there.
Yeah, my wife's a member. It's basically a group of successful women, and they would be presented with numerous different like businesses or charities, and they all put in. Every member puts in $100. And then all the money is compiled. And out of the 3, 4, whatever businesses or charities presented, they kind of all vote. But oftentimes what happens, let's say this business wins, but they'll still contribute individually.
To the other ones.
My wife does that. She's like, I love that one, but I feel like this one also needs some money. And there was one time a farm that raises horses and teaches horseback riding, and they won once. There was another business that was nonprofit who would raise money for diapers to help young mothers who don't have money for diapers. They're expensive, you know. Do you have children? I don't know.
No, I just have stepchildren.
They're just so expensive, you know, constantly changing kids' diaper, and if you're a single mother, it can be tough. So she runs this charity where she helps. And, I mean, there's just a couple that I remember off the top of my head, but I think will be interesting. I'm glad that you're gonna attend, and
Yes,
I
I
hope you
do.
find.
Well, I want to meet your wife anyhow.
Yeah. No. Oh, I already made a note of it.
Book talk.
It's Book Dog.
Yeah. It's funny. She's in the book club, and they call themselves.
The Social Society of Part-Time Readers.
Thank you. Yeah.
My wife's in it with him, or with his wife. Yeah,
And,
that's their acronym.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Here in Baldwinsville?
Yeah. We need to have something like that, but we're not going to
We
read
have
books.
we have a social society of full-time drinkers.
Yeah. The more books, I think this is a second author on our show, right? Yeah, because we had Peter Fox. He was the producer of ESPN back in 1979.
78,
Yeah. So he's the first producer when ESPN first launched.
Oh, wow.
So he wrote a book, the 300 hours before ESPN or something like that.
No, it was it was like days.
300 days before. Yeah. So, and we love when we have authors here, because I get to learn about an author and their background, and then it spikes up my interest of like more to read about the book. It's already about dogs, so I'm reading it regardless.
Same. Like I said, I'm about almost 3/4 through it, but maybe tonight I'll finish it.
It's interesting how each person decides to have a dog. Like, why did you decide to have a dog? Did you always wanted a dog, or someone just gave it to you and you decided you'll rescue and then you got attached? In my case, I don't know about yours. I know about yours. I always wanted a dog as a kid. I just been attracted to animals. And so many of my friends had pets that I also wanted, but my parents would just not allow it. And before my son was born,
Oh, wow.
my wife and I both were like, he's going to grow up with a dog. And we wanted to get a dog. We weren't ready. And we're about to get married. And before the wedding, someone said, "Oh, there's an accidental litter. Would you like to go check it out?" And we're like, "All right, we'll just go look." You know,
Of course, yeah.
Once you sit in the car, you're buying it.
It's never. And you see this basket of puppies, and you're like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
And they're these tiny, tiny babies. And then, so we got Lily, and then we're driving home. We're like, "What the fuck did we just do?" We both looked at each other like, we're about to get married. There's so much shit going on.
I'd feel worse about it if I was, what the fuck did I do when I get a Great Dane? I mean, at least Lily's like slightly bigger than this.
I think when you're in that mindset, you don't even think about the size of the dog yet. You think about the responsibilities
It's not like moving a city. It's just moving a little bundle of something.
And then we go to a pet store, and they're like, "Oh, how old is she?" And we said, 8 weeks or something. Oh, she's too young. Why'd you get her? I'm like, shut up. I don't know. It just, they gave it to me. We took it.
That was the opportunity.
And so she had, I think, separation anxiety. Is that a thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So for the first, I want to say 3 weeks, we tried to do the crate training and she would whimper so much.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in our bedroom. And I couldn't. I was like, there's no way we could sleep through this. I feel terrible. So for 3 weeks, I slept on the floor next to the crate with my hand inside the crate. Oh, and that's how she would stop crying, I would say.
Oh, wow.
So 3 weeks on the floor, my hand in there, and then slowly trying to kind of like, it's like a baby falls asleep. You slowly want to move your hand and go to bed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're sleeping. She wakes up. She's like, sucker.
Yeah.
My wife had the bed all to herself.
Sucker.
So
yeah, your dog and your wife are giving high fives. She's like, God.
But now all our dogs are in bed with us. So we have 3 dogs and 2 humans.
But they capture your heart.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we just like, Lily is 16 years old. And we always want to have more than 1 dog. So we're like, 2 is a good number. But then, so both Lily and Dexter, they're rescues. Tucker, we've been wanting to get a dog so that we have one before Lily passes.
Okay, yeah.
And that way we're not getting another dog to replace her.
Yeah.
Tucker is already in our life.
Yeah.
So it just when we lose her, we lose her.
Yeah.
We say our goodbye and we have 2 dogs. Yeah. Not to be like, well, that dog was a replacement for the sadness from Lily, right? Yeah. So that's why we have 3 dogs now.
Okay.
The idea is always to have 2. And of course, if I had money and land, I'd have a bunch. But, we love Great Danes too.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of boxers. Actually, I read books about raising boxers.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh. And then I end up getting Lily Bichon Poodle mix. I was like...
She's like boxer.
I was like, it's a dog, different size. I'll just apply that to her. And I think primarily from my experience, dog parent. I don't like saying.
You are.
Yeah. It's consistency is important. And approach. They feel it. They feel your anger. They feel your sadness. They feel your happiness, right? And it's funny, we'll use like deep tone voice, but say something nice and their ears go back, right? They don't know vocabulary, right? But they know the tone. They know the tone of the voice.
They do know.
No, they learn the words based on repetition and consistency. Then they learn. Yeah. Like we have friends who come over are mind blowing that when I say what room they should go in, the dogs go. When I say family room, all the dogs kind of follow each other.
But it's consistency and the discipline of really kind of, like I'm the disciplinarian between Frank and I. Frank is like, there's Zeus is tall enough to eat off the counter, and stuff like that. And I'm the disciplinarian. I'm going like, you can't do that. You got to make him lie down and do things. But, one of the things a little story as you're talking about that is that I end up talking, I got to put my glasses on. They're not dogs. They're big beings. I see them as like little humans. And, so I love spending time with people, said Zeus, and he does. Mom and Dad think that there is a difference between me and them, but I don't see it. In the language of love, distinctions fade. To a heart full of affection, we're all just big beings sharing life's journey together. That's it.
I mean, if you think about the whole picture, a dog is just really like it's a being.
Yeah.
But they're without our need to to pay bills and be this be everything that you want to be as an adult and as a human growing up and maturing.
Yeah.
A dog is that minus all of that.
Yeah.
They just
Responsibility.
They want to eat. They want to poop. They want to play. They want to sleep, and they want to love.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And you walk into the room, they just want to be with you. I mean, could you imagine life just being like that? That's what we need more of.
I joke sometimes, like Lily, or I'll say Tucker. Do you guys want to trade places for like 2 days? I want to have no care.
I know why you want to trade places with Tucker.
Why?
Because he can lick his penis.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah." He even agreed with me.
No, I knew he was gonna go there.
No, I was even hesitant. I was like,
I know why.
shouldn't say it, but
I know why I thought you wouldn't go there, but
Tucker, you want to share peanut butter or something? I don't know.
but I find that actually. Let me ask you a question. You're the disciplinary, right?
Yeah.
When you and your husband in the same room,
Yes.
who do dogs gravitate to, you or him?
It depends.
Okay.
It just really does. There are times that Zeus just kind of like, he just wants love and he'll come to me for love. But as soon as the refrigerator opens up and Frank grabs a piece of bread and butter, then all bets are off,
Yeah.
And we each have a special relationship with them, and then Aryanna, who's the older one, she's very independent. She's going to be 10 in July, and she is just, she's got a fixed brain, and she wants love when she wants it. And she'll let you know. That's just how females are. At least the two female Great Danes that I've had, independent, want love when they want it, and they would just want to be alone and stuff like that. The boys, Beau and Zeus, they just want to be loved and they want to be with us. I mean, yeah, they're on our bed, because they just want to be part of, and, imagine we have a king size bed, and, every so often, Aryanna, when she was younger, she would get up with Beau, and, I might be able to find a little spot there, but, they just want to be part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And you want them to be part of the family.
Yeah,
you want them to feel
absolutely.
that,
Yeah.
In the back of the book here, we have pictures of life with mom and dad, because, this one here, normal is overrated, and it's we love, because Aryanna likes to drink coffee, and we always love to go to the Red Lion Inn, and they're dog friendly, so we'll bring them. And so we've got a picture of her sitting on this chair with a bistro because she wants to drink coffee. But one of the things, our lives evolve around them. And it's like, there's a picture literally when we go someplace and we're taking them, and Frank's got a big Ford Explorer, between the beds and them and the food and everything else that we need to take for them, there is no room for our stuff, And it's like, okay, I gotta throw some things in the front, but it's because they are our lives, and we really do everything we can to accommodate them and to feel, better. I did buy this vehicle that I'm not going to say what the vehicle is, but when I did, I always drove Volvos, and I wanted to try something different back in 2021. And I had to go to the car dealership to be able to see if I could fit 2 Great Danes in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring them with you?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
That's interesting. Normally you go to a dealership and they're like, you can fit 10 Biddies in this trunk.
Right.
You're like, how many Great Danes can I?
But that's it. It's like, because I needed more of like a soccer mom car, and so it was like, our lives evolve around them. And they are our children.
Yep.
You know, I have stepchildren, but these are my children.
Sure.
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm ridiculous because Lily's 16 years old.
Yeah.
And so I carry her up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
Is she even 8 pounds, you think? Or,
Yeah, she's like 12.
yeah.
And I go, well, maybe if she walks less stairs, she'll live a little bit longer.
But that's
So I carry
exercise,
her.
man.
I'm the only one she will let anybody
Yeah.
to hold like a baby where she's on her back and her.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone else tries to hold her that way, even my wife, she starts to freak out. She's like, why am I on my back?
Yeah.
You're not my dad. And then because I'm the disciplinary one, all the dogs always gravitate to my wife.
Do they really?
Yeah. She's
Not
like,
the way my dog.
she goes, honey, I'm also strict with them. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
you don't jump on it right away. You know, like I'm trying to teach him, I'm trying to distinguish when it's okay to bark. Like just because they see another dog, I don't want constant barking, right? Like anything. They could see a leaf flying across the yard because it's windy, they'll start barking at it. Or we have a bunch of rabbits and they'll start barking, or squirrels. So some of that stuff, I'm like, no, like if it's a person approaching the door, you want to bark, I'm okay with it, you know, but then control. Okay, so we got alerted. Thank you. Great dog. Thanks for looking out for your family. We're safe now. But now just okay.
Yeah.
My wife would just let it go.
I'm passive. None of us want to hear it. He just does it. I'm like,
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. So when we got Jazz, you know, she was supposedly, you know, obedience trained. Well, let me tell you something. I'd walk her and she'd pull me and I'd wind up on my butt,
Right.
you know? So when we decided we were going to get a puppy and we got Beau, and we got him at 8 weeks old, and I'm going like, I have to get a trainer because I'm not going to walk the two of them and be, you know, pulled. So anyhow, so we got a trainer. He came to the house, and I had to kind of retrain Jazz a little bit, although she was stubborn and, you know, not going to. But then I got Aryanna. He came back. So now we're on Zeus, and he's trained me. Okay. It's, you know, the trainer it's not really training the dog. It's about training me to be the alpha, you know? So, but again, I was the one that was involved in all the disciplinary and the training and the walking and everything like that. So I had him come back because now I wanted him to train Frank and also a friend of ours, Al, that was going to be taking care of them when we're gone.
you wanted the guy to train your husband?
Yes, I did. And Al. And of course, I planned it out that Mitch is going to come. And of course, half the time they didn't show up. So I'm going like, you know, so again, who's a disciplinarian? You know, it's me, you know, and it's okay. Because the trainer trains the human,
Right.
you know, because, you know, we need to be the alpha dogs because they're pack and they can very easily create that alpha dog within themselves, but we need to be trained. And so I tried to get the disciplinarian to Al and Frank, but it didn't exactly work very well, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it's a tough road at the beginning, and I hate to be strict and tough with them. Because after a little while, I let that sink in and then go and give them extra kisses. But I think it's important to establish that because then it's just chaos.
Yeah.
And you kind of need order for chaos.
Well, it's short-term pain for long-term gain. You know,
Yeah.
like you really,
Yeah.
they're really, they don't forget much.
No.
You know, so once you learn it up front, it's going to make your life easier in the long run.
I thought dogs have short-term memory.
You know, that's a good question.
Mine does not.
You know, but I think they're like conditioned, like Pavlov's dog, you know, they get conditioned to being able to do the same thing. So it's the habits.
Yeah,
and
those
stuff.
things towards training, but like if I got mad at them,
right, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
later there's like you come home,
I meant
they're
the
like,
training.
you're home again, yay!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I meant the training piece, not.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like when you see people they haven't seen in a long time, they kind of get up to them, they're all sniffing, they don't really know what's going on until they realize it's you and they smell you and then they jump on you. And
I have this theory, and let me know if you think this too. But I often look at features of the dog to see if there's any resemblance with owners.
You know.
Do you feel that way?
Oh yeah, sometimes.
man.
Yeah, sometimes it's funny. You'll see these pictures of these people with their dogs, and you're going like, "Holy moly!" You know, they really look.
well, you would be Tucker, just like a ton of black hair.
I was gonna say, I think Tucker and I have some.
He's probably got less than you.
Dexter.
He's probably got
I'll
less
show
than
you
you.
pictures later. Yeah, but I always, when I see owners with their dogs, I look at some resemblances. You know, like maybe it's the hair, or maybe it's facial hair, or maybe it's how their eyebrows and their eyes are, and the dog is also like. it's funny, but like 90% of the time, I can find something.
And I think it's also part of it is the personalities too. They're, you know, they kind of, if you have an owner that is loving and giving, that dog is going to be loving and giving. You know, so yes, I do think that they can look like them, but in different aspects.
I like to see those people that don't, you know, maybe they don't have pets.
Yeah.
But when you bring them around pets and the pets growl at them, like, oh, you're a bad person. Like if a pet doesn't like you, there might be something wrong with you.
I've just said that a couple of times, you know.
Yeah, you got nefarious purposes going on.
I'm going to get a lot of heat for this from you, probably. Are you familiar with the movie Legally Blonde?
Oh, my God.
Yes.
You remember how her dog would always growl, or like if the outfit wasn't good, the dog would be like, oof, like I didn't like it. Or if it was a bad person or a guilty person, the dog would like react. Yeah. And it's just, the dog was always right.
Absolutely. Because you know what? There's that instinctive gut feeling that just something's not right. And that's what we need to grow more
I wonder if they
into.
could smell like pheromones. I wonder if dogs can like get this type of...
I see the resemblance between Finnegan and you.
Yeah. Why? Because he's like, legs are like this long.
His head is round. Yeah. Barb, is there anything you would like to mention or highlight about book?
Oh, yeah. Or you build your path, or how people can find this. Anything you want.
So, well, you can find me on my website. It's barbstone.me, and you'll be able to follow me and also sign up for my newsletter, because one of the things that I've done is I really want to get this thing out. And I have to say, yes, I'm doing 2 podcasts this week. Oh. I'm doing 2 radio shows this week because I want to get the message out. And then I'm going to be on Bridge Street. So please follow me. And if anybody is interested in having a conversation, I'm also I do a lot on LinkedIn, Barb Stone, also Facebook, Barb Stone, and on Instagram, Barb Stone, CNY. But what I'm really interested in is talking to people about this book and how it can help you change your life. I mean, I've had somebody, Chucky Holstein. Chucky Holstein she's like 98 years old. She's been a pillar in this community. She has done so much. She has met so many different world leaders, and I've known her through Leadership Greater Syracuse. And she called me last night and she says, I finished your book. I got it in paperback. And she says, because I just couldn't read it on Kindle. She goes, oh my God, Barb, I'm amazed by it. And to hear that come from this person that actually in the back of my book, I name like 5 people that have helped me with some of my values in my life. And she's one of them, because she helped me better understand what it's like to give back to community. And I started this business, Build Your Path, to be able to help people on their path. But this is like another business for me now. And you guys are all entrepreneurs, so I want to be able to get out and really start speaking about it to people. I've got a lot of book signings going on because it's important for me about the message, about what dogs do. We've just been talking about this, that instinct understanding, this instinct moving forward, and I use Great Danes because they're big. Right. They walk into the room and you go, whoa. Well, it's like, what if you were to live large in your life? And it's not meaning big as far as, but it's about having a presence and being sure of who you are and really wanting to make an impact in your life and everybody else's around it. That's why, I love this book, and I love the Great Danes and what they represent. Absolutely.
Maybe one day we'll have a Great Dane, because I love my wife's where she gets her hair done. She has Great Danes, and they raise them. Oh, do they really? She would have it in the salon.
Oh, wow! And what salon is that?
I don't know. I know her. The woman who does her hair. Her name is Martha.
Okay.
And she's somewhere in Phoenix.
Okay.
I think New York. Okay. But I don't remember the name of the salon. But she has Great Danes.
Oh, wow.
She always had Great Danes. Where can people buy the book?
So they can buy it right now. It is on Amazon. And so just look for So Much to Drool About, Barb Stone, and you'll be able to find it. And then again, sign up for my newsletter, because you're going to find out where I'm going to be. I am looking for every opportunity. And if you have an opportunity that you would like to have me talk to your people, I'd like to be able to just get it out, because the message is important. Yep. And and you know what, we all, and you guys we're all servant leaders, because what we're really trying to do is to help people and bring the messages out and share it. So that's what we are. And that's what I am. I really want to be able to. I'm thinking this, how can I get out into schools? There's so much to be able to do to make an impact, because what you guys are doing, you're making an impact in society and in people's lives. And that's what I want to do. That's what I really think the message is all about.
Great. We enjoy it, and I'm so glad someone like you does this too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you wanted to be here and share this with us. And
this has been amazing.
Thank you for the gift. We love it. Once we wrap this up, we'll talk about any information you'd like us to share on social media, so that we can kind of spread the word as well, and go that route as well. So we'll wrap it up here. I just want to say thank you to all the listeners. Thank you for all the followers we have. We're still trying to reach 4,000 on Instagram. We're doing that giveaway. Follow us on hoptopnetwork.com. And Barb, again, huge thank you for making time to be here.
Thank you.
And if our landlord ever allows us to have dogs here, we would love to.
Okay.
I would love to meet Zeus. It would probably be a 3-hour podcast.
We can make it work.
He'll sit on your lap, and you put some food on the table, and then he'll just kind of help.
We'll teach him bad habits.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Love it.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.